This guy right here is Svet. He's a copy mentor, a copy chief, and a regular contributor to Entrepreneur. And what's interesting is that he's also a TEDx speaker. So in our conversation, I had to ask him what he does exactly to help his clients increase their revenue, but most importantly, how he prepared for that TEDx speech. Let's get into it. Hi, Svet. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Alberto, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing great as well. Thank you so much for inviting me.
No, it's my pleasure. We're two copywriting minds today. So we
Yeah,
have like two personal brands, but also two copywriting minds. And so I'm so excited about this conversation because you have so much to talk about. I think you're a very yeah, I think this is going to really rock. I love I'm going to love this conversation. And welcome everybody to the Coffee with a Personal Brand podcast. My name is Alberto. I have my espresso here. I am Italian. That's part of my branding. So of course I have to have my espresso. Are you a big coffee drinker, Svet, by the way?
I am not a coffee drinker at all.
Oh, okay. So what do you drink
Yeah.
usually?
In the morning, I just usually drink the water and then I have a smoothie with some fruits and some nuts. Um, and very rarely I drink some tea, but most of the time it's just water and probably like fresh juice.
Interesting. Yeah, and I already told one of the previous guests that there's two kinds of like fitness people, the ones that are caffeine addicted and the ones that are like no coffee at all. It's very
Yeah,
interesting that there's no in the middle. Sometimes
yeah,
in many cases just no coffee or yeah, I need coffee to live and lift and everything. So that's
yeah,
interesting. So no
yeah.
not much caffeine in your diet, basically.
No, not at all. But I know coffee can be healthy if you drink it maybe once a day or something. I know it has some benefits, so I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just like I've tried it a few times and it just never stuck. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's very personal. Yeah, and
yeah.
now we talked about coffee, but many people still don't know about you because we haven't introduced you yet. So why don't you start by sharing a bit of your story for those who don't know you?
All right. Well, it's kind of interesting. So I will circle back to I think it was 2015 when I came back from China. I was there for a few months to start a job there, but I didn't enjoy it as much. So I came back to Bulgaria. I'm originally from Bulgaria, but I live in Valencia, Spain right now with my family. And when I came back to Bulgaria in 2015, it was in the summer. I was like, I really don't want to go back to a job. I really don't want to like get into that nine to five rat race, as you know. So I was more like, yeah, I just want to like share also what I've been through in China because China was very different from Europe, from the US. I also lived in the US several 17 years ago, I guess, right now. 17, 2007, so 19 years ago. Wow, that's a long time ago. But yeah, China was very different. So it was like I just want to share, and I didn't want to share it just in Facebook posts and just I just wanted to create a blog. So I created my travel blog, travel and lifestyle, because I was also sharing some healthy tips as well. But I was like, yeah, I wouldn't be able to support myself just by creating a blog, especially at first because I need to monetize it. Um, so I also started looking for freelance content writing jobs. And I started doing that, and I would say a few months after that, actually landed a decent retainer with a guy who said, "Hi, you're the best copywriter in Bulgaria." And he mostly meant that I was the best content writer because I was just editing content, but he was a business owner. He didn't understand the big difference, but it was a big boost to my confidence. And we actually, a year after that, we created an ICO, which is an initial coin offering. And we took care of all the marketing and everything. We raised several $1 million. So it was a very big project, especially because I was just starting out with copywriting back then. So yeah, it was China that kind of pushed me to start the blog and then to get into content writing. And then a year and a half after that, I started learning more about copywriting. I realized it's a lot easier in some ways and a lot more lucrative as well because you can get paid more. So that's basically how it all started.
Yeah. Yeah, and you still work as a copywriter and marketer and copy chief today. So
Yeah. So
it
these
definitely worked
days,
out for you.
yeah, I mean, it was working very well until 2025 when I just realized that the copywriting scene is changing a bit.
Mm,
And I just wanted to like I mainly wanted to work with great clients or just do my own thing. So in 2025, I actually teamed up with two other people to launch a supplement brand, but unfortunately that didn't work out, and they kicked me out of the project, which was very bad. But there were a few red flags that I ignored. And here we are, like a few months later, they just kicked me out. I didn't get paid, and it was very rough. But then I promised that I wouldn't team up with other people that I don't know very well because this was the case here. But the positive things that happened in 2025 were that I really put a lot of effort into developing my email list, my newsletter, and launching a few other mentorships and different courses and programs. And I'm working more and more on that. This is my number one priority right now. And then I still have a couple of clients that I'm working with, and I just enjoy creating stuff for people that really understand the power of copywriting, because these days it seems like people are more focused on, hey, you can maybe write 1,000 creatives in a month and we'll pay you $2,000. Like, no, this is definitely not going to happen. Um, and so I'm still more focused on creating, as you know, like my personal brand, upgrading my personal brand, creating a lot more content, and just attracting more people to my email list, creating more courses and offers. And I've been the a copy chief for a company, but also been a copy chief for a lot of different copywriters in my mentorship programs since 2020. Um, and yeah, I'm putting a lot more effort into that, and I'm kind of switching from just being a coach for copywriters to also people who are in the digital marketing space, the digital creators, because I read somewhere that digital creator economy will be something like $20 trillion in a few years, maybe 10 years, I'm not sure, but that's like an enormous number. That's even bigger than the e-com industry, right? So I kind of shifted my focus, still focused on copywriting, but not only for copywriters, but also for all kinds of digital creators, coaches, consultants, people who sell stuff online. Um, and it could be digital products or physical products as well. So yeah.
mm. Yeah. Yeah, and actually, I can confirm I've been working with personal brands for a few years, and yeah, it's just been growing and growing. And as the copywriting niche, also the personal brand niche can get poisoned because like not everybody is a good person and knows what they're doing and have a legit product that they legitimately want to help people. But in general, that's just a great niche. It's a great way that is that people are making money with and helping people with. So yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. Like, I agree with the fact that at some point, like including personal brands in your like in your client base totally makes sense if you ask me. And
Yeah.
you also already mentioned a few things that we're going to talk about, like branding, and the fact that you started building your own personal brand.
Hmm.
But before talking about your brand, I would like to ask you about how you help your clients. Meaning that when you look at your, like our niche, again, marketing and copywriting, there's a lot of different approaches, right? So some are hardcore direct response people, some focus on just branding, some focus on organic content, and so on. What do you usually focus on when you work with your clients to help them grow in general?
Yeah. So lately, I've been focusing more on like trying to find the best approach for them, especially if they're working with me one on one through my mentorship programs. But if it's just a client who hires me to like, if they're like a very big client, they already have a lot of their marketing dialed in. So sometimes they would just message me and say, "Hey, we need a VSL, or we need a few emails, or we need an upsell, or something like that." And most of my experience is in the health niche, which especially because I've written a lot of copy for affiliate platforms like ClickBank, Digistore24, and some others. It's very hardcore that direct response there. So the thing that I've been focusing most, I would say, before mid 2025 was long form health VSLs. Probably since like or late 2020 until 2025 was writing a lot of VSLs, just at least a few times per year. And as you know, those VSLs take at least a few weeks, maybe sometimes a month, sometimes more than a month, depending on the client. Um, and yeah, those are like the ones that can drive a lot of revenue for the brand, sometimes as much as several $1 million with just one VSL or one VSL funnel. Sometimes even more. Obviously, the A-list copywriters in the world can drive even 8 figures. This is also called a home run VSL. But I think my highest grossing is like around 5 million right now. Maybe it's still counting, so that's pretty decent, almost a home run, I guess. But it's also like people say, "Hey, I'm an 8 figure copywriter, or I have generated this amount of money," and I say, "Okay, you can say that you wrote the copy for that, but can you really say that you generated that amount of money?" No, 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 not exactly, because the company is very dialed in. If you write the same VSL for a company that doesn't have any knowledge about the market, or doesn't have the resources to run traffic, or doesn't have a very huge email list, I'm pretty sure the results will be very, very different. So it's kind of funny when people say, "Hey, I have generated $1 billion or 200 million," and it's always like I'm this kind of copywriter. But if it wasn't for the brand and also the market and also sometimes luck, because sometimes you're just lucky, and the different, because sometimes a VSA wouldn't work in 2025 as much as it worked in 2021, for example, or 2017. um, so yeah, that was basically what I was doing before that. But right now, if I'm consulting with people, I'm going to tell them, "Okay, we can craft a VSL, but do you have the resources to really run it? Do you have the manpower to really test this and make it work?" Because it's been a kind of an interesting and kind of very weird year in 2025 with the market. So in 2026, it's still working. It can work amazingly, but it's getting harder and harder every year.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. And I totally agree also on the fact that, yeah, I generated 600 million for my clients. Yes, you can say that because it's your marketing vehicle as a freelancer
Yeah.
or business owner. But at the same time, you also, if you're good, you also know that it's copy and strategy are two pieces of the puzzle, but then you have like a lot of factors inside like that create the performance, right? So you have the brand,
Yeah.
the how that something that when it comes to personal brands, something that many people tend to forget about is how magnetic the personal brand is. I was in an event a couple of years ago, and I remember this presentation of a media buyer where they spent an hour going through the data. Oh, here we created this campaign that generated 10 million in a week, and we did this and this and this. This is what we did, and then they ended the presentation saying, "Now we told you all of this." But the truth, and that's all true, that's all good, and I hope it is useful. But you also need to take into account that the personal brand is freaking magnetic in a webinar. They are great. It was a man. He's a great salesman, and people are glued to the screen when he talks on a webinar. So yeah, you
Yeah.
generated 10 million in a week with that campaign. That's true. But if you take out the magneticism of the personal brand in a webinar, everything falls, right? And so that's
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah, I would say that if the guy can probably just write the copy on his own and probably generate probably not 8 million, but like 6 million or maybe 4 million or 5 million, he would definitely wouldn't struggle to make money even if it's the worst script in the world because people know him. Obviously, if he's just saying a lot of bullshit, probably nobody's going to believe, but it's rarely going to happen. So the brand and the company is super important, and yeah, you can then lift those conversions, maybe even twice as much. But it wouldn't be able if you just give the script to another person who doesn't have a personal brand, who doesn't have the traffic. How it's very likely that this script is going to be uh, failing and it's probably going to make just five figures or something. So it's very very important, and that's why people when they're sharing numbers. For example, I can probably share numbers from my own email list and from my own mentorship programs because it's just me there. But saying that I generated 20 million for a company, I mean, yes, the campaign generated 20 million, but it was not just me, it was just the whole team.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the whole point. It's the whole team, is the product, is the brand, is all
Yeah.
the factors that create the campaign and create the performance. So yeah, totally agree. Now, let's get into the first game, shall we? So, I always like to say that this is not going to be the usual podcast with just question and answer. I like to frame our interview into a little set of games. And the first game is choose one. So, I'm going to ask you simple questions where you have to choose A or B. Super simple. This
Okay.
way, we can get the people who are listening can get to know you better in a very short amount of time. So, you ready?
Nice. Yes.
All right. Summer or winter?
Summer.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Gym or copywriting?
Oh, that's a tough one. Probably gym and copyright.
Okay, I take it. Stand-up comedy or action movie?
Action movie.
TV or YouTube?
Definitely YouTube.
Music concert or date night?
Date night.
Books or courses?
Hmm. Guess it depends, but I would say books.
Okay, yeah. Well, congrats, you passed the first game. How do you feel?
Thank you. It was fun. Though
Okay,
some of
awesome.
those questions were a bit hard.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like you need to think about them. Like some of them,
Yeah.
I mix the easy ones with the toughest ones. Yeah, books and
Yeah.
courses, I wouldn't know because I consume both of them. That's why it's tricky.
Yeah. I agree.
Now, let's move to another topic. We talked about the copywriting and marketing and the whole overall strategy and when you work with clients. But you're not just a copywriter and marketer, you're also a TEDx speaker because there's a very interesting speech of you on YouTube. And I'm curious how it is to speak at TEDx and how did you prepare for that event?
That's a very interesting question, and I kind of love talking about it because it was back actually, I think, in 2019. So that was a long time ago. And when it was actually a friend who invited me who was organizing the event. and she invited me. It was in Bulgarian, but I actually also translated it into English. So it's on YouTube. I don't think there's a translation, but if people are maybe people that are listening to this podcast are interested, I can provide you a link with an in English translation of that TEDx. Probably going to be very interesting for people. But I actually, because I think 2019, yeah, I was actually introduced to Brazilian lady who used to be an actor, and then she transitioned to being a coach to TEDx speaker. So I was like, okay, I definitely need that. I'm gonna pay her some amount of money, but I want her to coach me to like really nail this. I was already I was already having like a decent personal brand in 2019. So I thought, yeah, I definitely need to nail this. Um, and in some way, it was great because we took like a lot of effort to just nail the very beginning of the speech or the talk. I think I kind of, and it was kind of interesting because I needed to like speak to her in English because she didn't understand Bulgarian, and then start rehearsing the speech in Bulgarian. So it was kind of interesting, but we just focused on the beginning of the talk because that's the most important part, as you know, and we can have a parallel to copywriting with the lead because the lead is the most important part. So if you don't nail the lead, nobody's going to listen to the rest of the video or nobody's going to read the rest of the email or the sales letter. And here it was very, very important that we nailed the lead of the speech. And I was a bit worried that I'm going to stutter a bit because I have this stuttering sometimes when I'm very excited. So that's why I rehearsed the speech, I think like 30 times every single day, just a month before the speech, because I knew it like a few months before that. So I hired the coach probably like a couple of months before that. We spoke for an hour and a half during a call, and then we were also in touch. And then for 30 days straight before the speech, I rehearsed it, and I think I didn't stutter at all. And I was in front of like probably 100 people, so it was a lot of people. And it was kind of interesting because we arrived with my friend who was going to be there in the audience to support me, and they said, some people are missing. And I was like, you're missing your TEDx speech. That's kind of crazy. So I had to like chime in like half an hour before my time, which was kind of stressful. But I went there and nailed it, and it was great. And I spoke very, very slowly, very confidently. And so yeah, that's how it went.
Awesome, awesome. That's very interesting. And I was just thinking about, wow, a coach for TEDx speakers. That makes so much sense because there's so
Yes.
many TEDx talks like every year. And so it make like it's a great niche. I never thought about that. In a
Yeah.
world where there's a lot of, public speaking coaches, you're
Yeah.
so, like you niche down like very, it's a tiny niche if you compare it to the public speaking
Yeah.
sector, but it makes so much sense. Wow. And I love the fact that you thought about it like an entrepreneur. Like, I don't know how to do that. Let me get someone who can teach me that. You didn't
Yeah.
spend hours on YouTube like DIYing the thing and
Yeah.
learning yourself, but you said, okay, I need a mentor. I mentor people on copy. I need a mentor to mentor me on TEDx. So yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I think that's a great move. And
Thank you
so
so much.
and the next question, I think you kind of already answered, but I would like to ask you anyway. What is one thing that you would have done differently back then, if there is? And then the segue is what is one big lesson that you learned from that experience?
Do you mean
TEDx.
the TEDx?
Yep.
Mhm. Um, I'm not sure. I actually think the funny thing was like I was the most prepared out of all like 20 20 something people because I went there, like I skipped some of the talks in the morning, but I went there and stayed for the next like 10, 15 talks. And some of them were quite interesting, but the people wouldn't prepare. Like there's like this red circle that you shouldn't leave at all. People were like just circling around. There was one guy, and it's 100% forbidden to talk about your brand or your company or something else. And this guy was like, "Hey," and he was making like a presentation about his company. It's like, what the hell is going on? And some other people are like their talks were super boring. I'm so sorry to say, but they were like very, 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 very boring. So I was quite happy with how it turned out. And one of the funniest things that happened was because we were waiting, I think, for so I delivered my speech, and then the next person was supposed to be after me and who was late was still late, and we had to kill some time. And after my speech, because people were quite excited about it, I said, "Hey, does anybody want to do push-ups on the stage?" So we did like 10 people lined up on the stage. We did push-ups, and it was filmed, so it was very fun. And
That's a
I
great
knew it was
idea.
going to be a great share for social media, because I was already kind of famous for doing push-ups outside. I was back then in 2019. I was doing a lot of live videos on Facebook where I was doing push-ups at home or some other places. So it was a cool move as well.
That's a great idea. Like, if you need to kill some time, don't go into like a stand-up comedy piece that, like, most people. Oh, hey, do you know this joke? No, they're like, let's just go with push-ups. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And is there one big lesson that you learned from that experience overall, like from learning to give the speech and to give the speech itself?
Well, the most important thing that I learned, especially with that lady, is that you should just focus on the leads and on the first like few lines. Even like the first line, I repeated that line like maybe just during the call we had with her for like 90 minutes. I repeated that line for 60 minutes, like more emotion, more emotion, more emotion, more emotion. And the first time was just like 7.5 billion people. This is how it started. Obviously, this is the world population, and now it's probably like 8 billion people. But I repeated that line, and she said, "Okay, more emotion, more emotion." So we kept repeating that line until I nailed it, and I felt it like people would just, because she was like, people should listen to you, should grab them from the very first word you say. And you couldn't be like, 7.5 billion people.
Mm.
And especially because it's a number and numbers are not very emotional, but you want to say like, and I think I said 7.5 billion people, and then I said, wow. And then people are like drawn in. So this was very important. And we kind of dwelt on that first line, which is like how many words? Three words. And then the next few sentences for the whole call. We didn't practice the rest of the speech just on that. So I think this was super important, and it's very important for people in copywriting and marketing that you should absolutely nail the lead and the headline. This is the most important part. If you don't do it, if it sucks, nobody's gonna read the rest of your copy.
Yeah, so true. So true. Love it. So basically the hook or the lead, even when it
Yeah,
comes to TEDx speech, you need to nail it. I love it. I love it. So true.
yeah,
Now let's move to the second game. All right. So, and for
nice.
this, we're going to get back to the copywriting realm. We never really got out of the copywriting like world because, like you said, we talked about the lead in the script. So it's still we're still inside there. And in this game, I'd like to make a tier list of the best skills a copywriter should have in 2026. So,
Mhm.
and to preface this, I know that we're not supposed to choose between the skills I'm going to mention, meaning that all of them are super important. But let's give it a try either way for the sake of the game. All right. So, you up
Okay.
for it?
Yes.
All right. So, we have AI prompting, research, get people's attention, storytelling, creative strategy. So there's five of them. I'm gonna repeat them: AI prompting, research, get people's attention, storytelling, creative strategy. And so if you had to put them in order, how would you rank them?
I would 100% start with research. If you don't do the research, no AI prompt is going to help you, nothing else. Um, I would then mention storytelling. I think it's very important. Um, I think creative strategy would be next because strategy is super important, probably even more important than storytelling, I guess, because if you don't have a strategy for the story, so maybe research, creative strategy, then the storytelling, AI prompting, and then what was the other one that I'm missing?
Get people's attention.
I guess people's attention is super important as well. So maybe it can be on par with storytelling, and I would say AI prompting is the last. At least for me, I know some people would probably put it higher. But as I said, I'm not interested in writing 10,000 ad creatives per month for some brands and just getting paid pennies for that. I'm not denying AI prompting. I'm really sure it's like all these five are very important. It's definitely more important than other elements. But at least for me, if you don't nail the other parts,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to or if you don't know how important the other parts, if you don't know how to create the strategy, how to do the research, even if you use AI, it can give you stuff that's not very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes total sense. Well, congrats. You passed the second game too. So 2 out of 3.
Thank you.
High
Grazie.
five. So
High five.
now segueing into the next question, because you positioned AI, like you mentioned, in like at the bottom of the tier list, right?
Mhm.
So expanding on that, what do you think? Also, if you think about the copywriters you work with and the clients you work with, what do you think is the role of AI in 2026 for copy and offers in general?
Yeah, so AI will definitely stay and it's going to get a bit better, I would say, probably a lot better. But the thing is, and I read this in one of the emails that David Deutsch, and probably most people know who David Deutsch is, but in case they don't, he's one of the still living legends and OGs of copywriting with probably 1 billion in sales or even more. So David Deutsch's email, it was like from probably like a couple of weeks ago. It was in 2026. So he was predicting what's going to happen in the copywriting world in 2026. And he had a very interesting prediction, which I kind of agree. Like, not even kind of. I actually fully agree with it. It's like, yes, AI is going to get better at copywriting and in general, in design, in coding, whatever. But it's going to plateau at some point. Why? Because AI is using all the information that's available on the internet. And the information available on the internet is actually expanding at a crazy pace, but it's also because of AI. So AI is going to be using AI again. So it's going to be cycling and recycling the same old things that are probably getting a little bit better, but it will never get on a list level. So David Deutsch was actually saying that yes, it's probably going to evolve and AI is going to get better, but people are already fed up with AI a lot. And I think especially for personal brands, if you want to like really stand out, you should just keep away from AI, at least for how you phrase your sentences and your content and your copy, because people can see those. This is, those annoying patterns that everybody
M
already knows.
dashes.
AEM dashes, yeah. And although I really like those, so people can probably say, but you can see the pattern. It's different. Some people use it like me, but they don't use it in the same way. So if you want, and as I mentioned, the personal branding and the digital creator economy, which is based on personal branding, is going to be exploding more and more in the next few years. And YouTube is going to be huge as we are watching this or people are listening to this on YouTube, is going to be even more and more people's lives, in people's faces, going to be probably even more important than national television. So it's really important to like stay away from AI. You can use it for research, you can use it for ideas, but you have to like present your face, your human face. And I would say also those AI videos, they are super well done, but you can see that they're lacking emotion, they're lacking the human side of it.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I think what you're saying totally makes sense, especially because I think Mark Cuban said that with the rise of AI and everything becoming like the distinction between what is real and what is not becomes more blurry, then people
Hmm.
need more in-person live stuff, or at least things
Yes.
where you can see that there is personality and emotion. And we go back to the idea of the personal brand, like or a brand in general. Like maybe yes, you can use AI to write something, but then you also need to put your own personality into it and make it
Yeah.
unique so that people understand that it came through your filter, right? So maybe I don't know, 70% of an email maybe was written by AI because of research, because of some sentences and some concepts, but then you became the filter and personalized it and made it your email. And so I think
Yes.
that's very important. And what I find it's with research. Like with research, it just speeds things up like crazy, I think, and that's a great thing for our job and for creating offers in general, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Awesome.
agree.
And before we move to the last game, I'd like to also chat about something that you mentioned at the beginning, which is branding, your brand. And anyone that knows you, they'll associate you, at least that's what I do, with three things: copy, push-ups, and tractors. Because
Okay.
you post about these, you post like you said, you posted about travels, you posted about your story, you posted about doing push-ups in random places, and it's in
Yeah.
your social media, it's in your, yeah, on your website, and then your love for tractors. Like
Yeah.
and it's something that if you say who's that, oh, the guy on that does push-ups on a tractor. That the
Yeah.
copywriter who does push-ups on a tractor, that's an a USP basically.
Yeah.
But so in general, I want to just briefly touch on this. What have you done in the last few years to build your brand on social media, and what was your overall approach that worked the best for you?
So in the last few years, I can talk about it, but before I really had like a brand, um, I started doing a lot of live videos on Facebook. I think it was like the early era of live videos on Facebook. It was like 2016 in 2017. Not sure exactly about the date, but it was in this range. And I was at some point I was doing a ton of live videos, like almost every single day I was going live. I was part of this kind of mastermind where you're like going live one after another. So we were jumping from one live video to another to support each other and in this way to grow. Though the mastermind people weren't that great. Doesn't matter. I was like doing a ton of live videos, and this also helped me to develop better speaking skills. And I was when they invited me to that TEDx talks, I was quite confident I would be able to perform better than it was before I started doing live videos because I've done probably like 300 live videos or more before they invited me. So I wasn't like stressed a lot about it, but I still, as I said, I invested in. But in general, I think that was one of the things that really helped me develop my brand was those a ton of live videos and obviously some other posts. Then in 2020 something, I also created a Facebook group with another lady that was later abandoned, but then I created another one, and in the last 2.5 years I've been working on my own Facebook group, which is grown to around 2,000 people. And I've had a lot of people buy some of my courses or mentorship, and I've been providing a lot of free value every single week there for most of the time. I kind of abandoned it for a few months, and I was posting randomly, and I reignited it again this in the beginning of 2026. And yeah, I think that's one of the main things. And also posting every single day on Facebook and X in the last 3 years, probably even more. I haven't missed a day. Of course, some of my posts weren't great. Some sucked, but some of them were good. Some of them were great. Some of them were kind of viral. So that's the most important part when you're with whatever you are doing in your life. If you're not consistent, you're probably not never gonna get great results. So consistency doesn't matter if it's just, let's say, 5 squats per day. If you want to work out, five is better than nothing. And then the next day you can do six, seven, eight. And it's the same with social media. You can post every single day. Sometimes it could be just a photo and something. It's just the habit of doing that. Um, that creates a consistency, and I think that what has helped me become the person that I am today.
So interesting. And the consistency, and it's kind of cliche because everybody talks about consistency, but it's really the secret sauce, the secret, not so secret sauce, to be honest,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
oh yeah, everybody says that you need to be consistent. Yes, then why don't you do that? Because you're trying to find the secret ingredient that will make you successful on YouTube or Facebook X or whatever social media. But the consistency is really the key. I really agree, especially today with a lot of content. You need, like you said, like some posts will suck, some posts will go like average, and some will go viral. And but
Yeah.
you need to keep going, otherwise it will, no one will ever go viral, right? If you're not
Yes.
consistent.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we can move to the last game, which is
Yes.
called Time Machine. Let's say you get in a time machine and you meet your younger self in the exact moment you started your first business. You only have 30 seconds to spend with him. And so my question is, what is one piece of advice you would give younger Svet? Now, at the OPS, most people say buy Bitcoin or buy Amazon stocks. You can't say that. So, just
No.
one give a piece of advice you would give to your younger self.
All right. So go 30 seconds live. So I probably need less than 30 seconds. I would say invest in a person who has already been in your shoes. Invest in a mentor, a coach. Courses and books are fine, but if you can hire a mentor to really show you the way, to show you the mistakes that you can avoid, the mistakes he or she has already done, that's going to be the best piece of advice. And since I started investing in mentorship in early 2020, I've been increasing my income and just having a peace of mind. Uh, I think
Okay,
that's the most important thing that you can do.
awesome. Svet, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time. Where can people find you or contact you in case they want to know more about how you can help them?
Thank you as well. It was a pleasure. They can then find me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Svet point Dimitrov, or on X, the Copy Titan. Um, and yeah, my website, copywritingtitan.com. We can always leave those in the description of this video, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Everything will be in the show notes below. And is there any big project you're working on at the moment that you'd like people to know about? Anything that you're working on?
I'm going to be launching a supplement brand, but I don't want to like really hype it because it's been in the works for so many years. And just going to test something. And if it goes well, I'm going to continue. If not, I'm going to scratch it. I can probably share more about it in a different episodes in a few months or years. And then I'm also going to be launching a new a course that's going to be called the Full Stack Copywriter, probably in the next few weeks. So probably when you're watching this video live on YouTube, the course will probably be almost done. So that's going to be very exciting.
Awesome. Looking forward for this.
Thank
Svet,
you.
thanks again for taking the time. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.